Greetings! Welcome to the fourth installment of my Pokemon teams. If you've not seen my previous installment, you can check them out in the links right here. So I'm going to be talking about my Pokemon team and Pokemon Diamond version. So with Sinnoh, the new thing that they were doing was that now your attacks were either physical or special. It didn't matter what the type was. Before, Flamethrower and Fire Punch were both special attacks because fire was a special type. Now, Fire Punch is a physical move, so it goes by your attack stat. Flamethrower, being still a special move, goes by your special attack stat. They just add a new layer of complexity, and while stab moves are still stab moves, it's more effective if you go and follow the nature, making it a little more challenging, a little more competitive, and adding more to the breeding level. I got into that late into the gen, but early on, well, now, I saw scans, I had access to the internet for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and of course they came out in Japan first because they didn't do international releases at this point. Well, in the magazines that I saw and in the many different things that I was viewing to check it out, and of course on Cerebi they had the full Pokedex right away. I looked at that, and I always want to have a unique experience with every generation. I want this generation's playthrough to be unique, so I won't use older Pokemon. And this can be a little bit challenging, but there should be enough new Pokemon that I can make a team consisting only of new Pokemon. When I saw that Chimchar evolved into a firefighting type, I thought it was a little weird that they were repeating a type combination like that. But then again, and I don't know. Plus, the monkey didn't really do it for me, and then Penguin. And if you saw my previous video and heard me talk about Torkoal, you know I like turtles, so getting twiggy with it. That's right, I picked Turtwig. So I really broke the mold here. For 3 generations, picked a fire type. This time I'm now picking the grass type. And I kind of was looking at, the Pokemon and was like, yeah, I'll use Magmortar. Even though it's an older Pokemon, it has a new evolution, so it's kind of like it's a new Pokemon. Alright, that'll be my fire type. And, yeah, so I, of course, caught the little bird, Starly, Staravia, Staraptor. Staraptor is great. It's probably one of the best little bird Pokemon that you can pick up early in the game for any journey. Like I said, Starly up to Staraptor, amazing. Intimidate, close combat, Aerial Ace, great Pokemon altogether. I can't imagine many people disliked Staraptor, if any. I mean, it's great. The only downside to it, it's Pokemon noise. Like screeching, what is that? But a lot of Pokemon suffer from that in Gen 4, so I won't, hold it against it. Then I wanted Shinx, and of course I never pay attention to anything. Shinx into Luxio into Luxray. The females don't have as cool of a mane as the males do, but we shouldn't base it on looks, and we shouldn't look at that. But yes, I had a female one, and it had rivalry. Oops, I didn't realize Intimidate was one of its potential abilities. But still, I was pretty happy with it. It's just really strong electric Pokemon. Then I had, I called up Weasel, because Weasel's just cool. How could you not want to use this Pokemon? In fact, a lot of the Pokemon of Gen 4 had really cool designs. So Floatzel, I kind of felt it lost a little bit of that, but I didn't care. It is so fast. It is a fast Pokemon with Aqua Jet, and then you can teach it through the move tutor, Ice Fang, because it's its level 0, level 1 move that it can have if you got one at level 1. But yeah, it had Ice Fang, which really came in handy. Oh, excuse me. So I already had 4 Pokemon on my team at that point, and I kept looking, and I had already planned to be using Dialga, the Dragon Steel type. Dialga is awesome. That Dragon type Hyper Beam, Roar of Time. Oh yeah, Flash Cannon, yes. Earth Power, awesome. Oh, Aura Sphere, which I sincerely thought was exclusive to Lucario, but it turns out quite a few Pokemon can harness the power of Aura. Hmm. Smeargle can too, in fact, but that's a different discussion for a different day. So I have 5 Pokemon. I have 5 strong Pokemon. Torterra being so strong, Staraptor being awesome, Luxray being strong, um, Floatzel being very strong. It was an all around great experience. And with Dialga, I was pretty good in battle. And I got to the Elite Four. And I realized I can't find Magmar anywhere. I can't even find Magby. So I did some quick checking because I didn't mind if I had to grind to get it up to speed. Right. You can't get Magmar or Magby until late in the game, like after the Elite Four. I was a little butthurt about that because my only option was to use Ponyta. That was the only fire type I think I encountered. Right. Or I could have traded and got a Chimchar, leveled it up, grinded, and I could have used Infernape, but Infernape's good, but, you know, it's kind of a noob thing to have a team full of starters. I mean, it's one thing when you have your own starter in there, but when you have to get, you know, more. At least that's how I feel. I mean, sometimes, you know, you just want a team of starters. Why not? But, Ash Ketchum syndrome aside, I kind of considered, could I use the GTS to get a Torchic? Would that be possible? No, I'm not going to do that. So I started looking at the Pokemon that were available, and I was like, man, there's no, like, fire-type Pokemon in Sinnoh. So I decided, well, I could use a Psychic type. I could use a Fighting type. Hey, I had a good experience with Medicham last generation, and while I really don't want to use a older Pokemon, that's, you know, a rule that I follow, I always pick the fire type starter, and this time I picked the grass type. So yeah, you know what, I'm going to use Medicham. I'll teach it Fire Punch. I'll get that fire move that I wanted. It had Psycho Cut, I think, and High Jump Kick. Oh yeah, Medicham was really great. In fact, it was better than I anticipated it would be. So I was pretty pleased with that decision. Medicham was my 6th Pokemon. You know, then after the game was over and everything was said and done, I started checking out more of the Pokemon. And even looking at my list here of the Pokemon that I used, I didn't really use many of the new Pokemon, but there weren't many new, like, Pokemon that I really wanted to use. Because this generation was more about giving pre-evolutions and new evolutions to older Pokemon. So I did get a Magmortar eventually. I taught it Fire Blast. It had Psychic, Flamethrower, and it had one more move that I can't recall. I think I may have taught it Solar Beam, but I'm not sure. So I did have the Magmortar, and, you know, I had that, and then I started experimenting. So, of course, I did eventually get an Infernape and an Empoleon. Both of them are solid Pokemon. In fact, Infernape is a very widely used Pokemon to the point where it's overused, and I can see why. With Close Combat, Mach Punch, Fire Punch, Flare Blitz, Flamethrower, Shadow Claw, so many good moves that you can teach it. Oh yeah, Thunder Punch, and I think it gets Bullet Punch too. I'm not sure on that, but yeah, it is a really versatile Pokemon. So, you know, I can see why many people used it, and I don't. Before you ask, I didn't regret like overlooking it for a Turtwig. I mean, Turtwig stood out so much more to me, and I'm glad I changed it up. I really am. I did use Empoleon, and Empoleon's pretty solid too. In fact, it has a decent enough variety of moves. I mean, not enough, really, but yeah, Empoleon's really awesome, and it has such a cool design. I enjoyed using Empoleon. In fact, while I haven't revisited it in recent, and now that I'm thinking about it, I may take my Empoleon into the battle tree in Sun and Moon. Roserade was really fun. I almost was planning on using it with Chimchar when I was still thinking I'm going to keep using fire type. Now, I bred one to have Weather Ball, Extra Sensory, and I think Poison Jab, and a leaf move I can't quite think of. But what's interesting is I was really hoping it was going to have some sort of Thorn Whip. And when I looked up its move pool, it had no such thing as Thorn Whip, but the Pokedex says it has Thorn Whips. It's been too long, Game Freak. Come on, give me that Thorn Whip move. But yeah, Roserade was a neat Pokemon. In fact, I had a couple of them. So with different move sets and different, skills. I of course wanted one with Poison Point, though. I think Natural Cure is pretty useful too. Now, I then went and I leveled up Riolu to have Lucario. Yeah, everyone used Lucario. Who didn't? That move, Aura Sphere, and then you see it in the movie. It was supposed to be a legendary, but then they turned it had Arcanine problems. It was supposed to be a legendary. It was also supposed to be dark and fighting, but it's actually fighting steel. Not that that mattered. It's a great Pokemon. Let's see. I had like physical and I had special attacking Lucarios. It was fun to breed. Then the next Pokemon I turned my attention to that was new was Spirit Home. In fact, when I got, the thing that you needed, the Keystone, and went to that abandoned well looking thing and to get it, it was like, yes, I'm going to get it, yes. It has a lot, it had better stats, to me anyway, than Sableye, and I forced it to work. I really wanted this Dark Ghost thing to be a Pokemon that I used. After Gen 4, though, I didn't go back to it. I found it to be a little troublesome for my playstyle, but I know a lot of people do like it. Then I went into the cave. I got Gible, Gabite, Garchomp. Yes. A Hammerhead Shark, and it's Ground Dragon? What is this? Garchomp was fun to use with Brick Break and Crunch and Dragon Claw and Earthquake. Oh yeah. Though I think at first mine knew Dig. I actually like Dig as a move. It's a really fun move. I don't care that it's 2 turns. I don't care that it's a little slow. Dig is fun. I do like that. So then I turned my attention to Krogunk, which became Toxicroak, with dry skin and versus a water type, or if you're double battling with a water type that knows Surf. Toxicroak can last in battle for a really long time, especially if you're using Kyogre. OMG. Surf and then the rain every turn, it gets a lot of health back, and then if you have it hold the new item Black Sludge, which is like leftovers for poison types, yeah, you get a really good, HP tank out of, Toxicroak. I know a lot of people didn't use it that way, but I did. Then, of course, I went and looked at Abomasnow because it had that snow warning ability. I tried to make double battles work for it, but while there were a lot of new Ice-type Pokemon this generation, a lot of them really... Ice teams... maybe I couldn't make an Ice team work. Maybe they were better than I knew. But yeah, I couldn't get the Ice team to work. But I still liked Abomasnow. I really tried my best to work with it with Woodhammer, Ice Shard. Yeah, I think I taught it Water Pulse as well. Blizzard. Blizzard is a must for Abomasnow. Even if it's got a physical attacking nature and moveset. Oh yeah, give it Blizzard, because the snow warning, it'll hit all the time. Then let's see. I turned my attention next to using Magnezone. I thought it was so cool that Pokemon evolved in location. Magnezone was really great. I didn't use any of the evolutions that much. They didn't really... They appealed to me greatly, but their move pools kind of were shallow, and I just couldn't, they weren't for me. I do like them, but they weren't for me. But yeah, Magnezone, it had that cool Magnet Bomb move, and now with Flash Cannon, and then I think Charge Beam came out this generation. I'm not sure, but yeah, Magnezone was really cool. Plus, I just really like that UFO design. Electivire, I used quite a bit. It's strong. It's really strong. I used it in double battles with Pokemon that knew Discharge. It, like, just to get its speed up, because unfortunately with Electivire, it trades off its speed from Electabuzz into attacking power, like physical attacking. But, like, Thunder Punch hits hard. The Pokemon Battle Revolution one had a Cross Chop, like, and it can do Earthquake. Like, this is a really, like, tanky Pokemon that you can use. I did talk about Magmortar. I raised the Togekiss, because I kind of felt like it was weird that they gave Togetic, which I felt was such, like, for all the build-up that Togepi had, and then Togetic, like, what? Or Togechick? Meh. Togekiss. Now, here's a great Pokemon. My first one had Hustle, unfortunately, but once I did get, like, you know, a Serene Grace one, oh yeah, I enjoyed this Pokemon a lot. I didn't use it as much as I would like to say that I did, but it was a Pokemon that I spent a lot of time raising. It was a Pokemon that I actually went and did, like, battles and only fought Pokemon that were going to give it EV points for its special attack and its speed. Yeah, I put some serious effort into this. If you saw my last video for Hoenn, you know that I was into Gardevoir. So of course I had to check out Gallade. I really liked it with Psycho Cut. Oh yeah, Psycho Cut, and then Night Slash. Oh, and Leaf Blade. Oh, and I think it has Close Combat too. Yeah, this Pokemon was really fun to use and had, like, fun attacks to use. I don't know how good of a Pokemon it actually was, to be honest. But, oh, excuse me, I enjoyed using Gallade. Gallade was really good. I had a good experience with it, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for all of my Gen 4 Pokemon. I was kind of, like, getting a little out of Pokemon at this point, just because, well, I was getting busier with work. I was trying to, the job I was in, I thought I could make a career out of, so I was spending a lot of time. I didn't do as much breeding as I did back in 3rd Gen. Like, I used to teach them fun moves, so I didn't get into as many Pokemon, and with the transfer, I was able to bring all my Gen 3 and my Hoenn and Kanto, and of course, when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, I had access to the Johto Pokemon, and, you know, I had all of my old Pokemon, so even though I completed the Pokedex, well, you know, I didn't spend as much time on the Pokemon because I already had them. I brought my old ones over, and I kind of felt this was, it kind of soured, it didn't sour me, but it kind of, you know, I didn't have to go through re-raising, I didn't teach a new move, like, you know, I will talk about Gengar real quick, because I revisited Gengar, because apparently if you teach it Hidden Power, and its Hidden Power is Ice, and I believe the power of Hidden Power varied, but now I think it's just got a, you know, a solid base power. I think it's 60 or so, but you could have a Hidden Power as low as 10 in Gen 4, and as high as 60. I had a Gengar with Hidden Power Ice, so with Focus Blast, Thunderbolt, and Shadow Ball, you know, I had a really good Gengar, and you know, it's cliche to say that, you know, I did something that was kind of cookie cutter, but I liked Gengar, and I really wanted to, like, have one that I could use that would be, you know, a really great Pokemon. Like, you know, I liked that there was something new I could do with this Pokemon, because before, it was just pretty much Psychic, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and maybe one other special move. I think it had Shadow Sneak? Like, I just kept it really, like, Ghost, you know? So, yeah, but bringing all my old Pokemon in, it kind of staled me to it, because I didn't have to do as much work, and there weren't that many new Pokemon this gen, so I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm not going to say what my ultimate team was, because pretty much my Elite Four team was my ultimate team. You should be seeing them on the screen right now. Do check out my other videos in this series, and make sure to give this video a like. go over to the suggestion area, and if you see my channel's name under a video, do watch that video and subscribe so you can see the next installments in the My Pokemon Team series, and also check out my Pokemon Sun Let's Plays. So just keep your eyes peeled until the next installment, and make sure to look at that Patreon card that's popping up. Until next time.